everybody, I'm David Saffert.
And I'm Bo Ayars.
Who is Liberace's music director from
19 to 19
for 13 years
13
though.
years. 13 years.
You think you did about 5,000 shows
Yeah, I
together?
did. It was from 73 to 85.
Is that even mathematically possible? I don't know. Bo has a story about Liberace that he wants to share with all of us.
Liberace was really the first majorly high-paid entertainer in Vegas.
Yeah.
In 1955, the Riviera hired him to be their opening act. It was a brand new casino, and they paid him $50,000 a week, which sounds like a lot of money until you figure out that in terms of $50,000 in 55, that was worth about $424,000 a week in today's money.
So he was eating well.
He was eating well, and that was a week for 4 weeks. It was like 1.6 billion. And of course, then after he finished, he went on unemployment. But that's another story. But we had a big show planned. It was a big event, and everybody was very excited about it. And so we brought all the pianos. We had the cars. We had all kinds of props, and it was really a very involved show. And unfortunately, we only had one afternoon of about 3.5 hours to rehearse this thing. So we started in at 1 o'clock, and we brought the pianos out in their order. And the pianos were all on carts that were easily moved. The last piano that he used in the show of the 4 was what we call the Strauss Piano. It was used in the last number of a medley of Strauss waltzes. And it was not the biggest one. It was probably a 1912 Steinway, but it was absolutely stunning because it was cobalt blue, and the legs were kind of carved, and they were edged in gold.
Oh, wow.
And the inside lid had a picture, a hand-painted picture. It was just stunning.
Wow.
And the cart that it was sitting on was covered in purple shag carpet. And, that was bling back then, right? So we brought the piano out, and as we had done all the other ones, and we put little tape marks on the stage to indicate where the piano cart should be placed when they rolled it out. And then we turned the lights on overhead, and we noticed that the lights didn't shine on the keys the way he wanted, because it didn't show off the rings and the piano and all. And this particular cart was special because it revolved. So it was very important to have the right lighting. Well,
the piano was going to move.
The piano moved
on a revolve.
On a revolve, the cart was in its place, and then the cart had a revolving mechanism in it, and so the middle part of the cart that held the piano on the bench, that revolved.
Got it.
So, but the lights didn't shine exactly, so we didn't have much time in this one-day rehearsal. So the stagehands quickly picked up the piano on the bench, and they moved it about 6 inches or so until it lined up perfectly with the lights overhead lined up perfectly. That was great. That's the only hitch in the entire rehearsal. Quite unusual. So then the rehearsal's over, and then we come back.
Liberace wasn't there though when they moved
absolutely, he was there.
He was there.
He was very. This was a big return to Liberace.
Okay.
So it was an important rehearsal for him.
Okay.
So he was trying out all the pianos and looking at the lights, and so everything was fine. So we came back for the show, and the show was great. I mean, it was packed. We had celebrities, TV cameras, big event. Liberace returns to the Riviera Hotel. Great press. And so the show is going great, and everybody is enjoying it. We come up to the last number, and the main curtain is closed, and he's in front of the curtain introducing the Strauss Waltz medley. And the curtain opens, and there is this cobalt blue, edged in gold with a picture of piano on a purple shag carpet cart. I mean, it got a round of applause all by itself, So then he sits down and he starts playing the Strauss Waltz medley. And a couple of minutes later, behind him, the curtain is open, and there was 8 twinkling chandeliers and some potted palms and some period statuaries. You always have to have potted palms.
Right.
That was important. And then a couple minutes later, he's still playing, and the curtain behind that opens, and there's this 22-piece orchestra, and we're playing the Strauss Waltz medley. And then behind us, the curtain opens a couple minutes later, and there are the Dancing Waters. Now, if people don't know the Dancing Waters, I think you've probably seen them. The Bellagio fountains, they're actually, they're jets of water that are hit with colored lights. and they do formations and they move in time to the music.
Mhm.
And as a side note, it wasn't every single solitary show we did. Somebody always came to me afterwards and they said, "How do you keep all that colored water from mixing together?" I didn't have the heart to tell them.
Well, you already had their money,
We got it.
so
We
who
had-
cares?
So now we're building up to the climax for the Strauss Waltz medley, and the stagehand has his button, ready to go to hit the revolve, and Liberace starts into the first couple of notes of the beautiful Blue Danube Waltz. Da da da. He hits the button, and the piano, not Liberace,
Huh?
just the piano, revolves. And Lee just looks at it, and what can he do, And it comes back around, and he plays as much as he can, and it takes off again. Well, obviously what happened, when they moved the piano and the bench to line up with the lights, the bench was moved totally off of the that bench wasn't revolving for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and the orchestra, I was trying to conduct it, and 16 of the 22 players were blowing instruments, and they weren't making any noise except laughing.
Right.
The only thing I heard was strings. That's the only thing I heard. And afterwards, I went downstairs, and I said, that was a great bit. That was a great. I said, that was funnier than laughing. That was funnier than Saturday Night Live. You ought to keep that in the show.
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't think so." And honestly, from that time until I stopped conducting for him in '85, we played a lot of places that had revolving stages where everybody revolved.
Wow.
But we never again did a revolving with the piano.
Wow.
And so that is a true story.
So that was one time that Liberace was not that delighted.
No, he wasn't.
At something that happened.
But true to him, he was always able to make the best out of every situation,
yes.
and that's what he was great at.
And why we love him.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. He's a big influence in a lot of people's lives. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for subscribing to our newsletter, and we look forward to bringing you more stories about Liberace, Barbra Streisand, Elvis, the Rockettes, whoever else Bo has had the wonderful opportunity to perform.
And David Safford.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you my story some other time.
Oh, okay,
you don't need to hear that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.